Hello, everyone. It's Mike from Downtown Comics, and I'm here, as always, with James Rossman. James, how are we doing today?
Good.
All right, so today we're going to talk about the first Marvel movie of the summer, Thunderbolts, is released. And, of course, we are going to get into spoilers. So before we do that, though, what were your just initial thoughts? Did you like Thunderbolts?
I liked it a lot.
Okay.
I think I liked it more than I did Captain America.
Okay, all right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not quite sure yet. We'll get into that when we
Yeah.
talk. But I will say I did like it. I thought that, again, I wasn't able to predict how the movie would go. It went some places I wasn't expecting. So I like that. You know, usually I'm pretty good at, you know, thinking that through. So yeah, so we both liked it, but we're going to talk about it more in depth. So Downtown Comics is the place to go to check out everything we do. And of course, this channel, we'd love to have your likes and your sharing and your subscribing, if at all possible. So share it with your friends. So anyway, I know we're a little late to the game. That's a scheduling thing, not us. We did see it. You saw it.
I did. I think it was the day after.
Day after. Yeah. I had to wait because it was free comic book day weekend. And I was just super busy, so I had to wait till early that next week. So anyway, all right. So now you're warned. Spoilers in 1, 2, 3. All right, we're in spoiler territory. But anyway, so how should we start this? This is a weird movie.
It is, yeah. I guess like with the whole setup of like Yelena's like working for Valentina,
right?
And so there's she's sending her on these missions essentially, and she's supposed to like rob this like secret stronghold.
There's a lab.
Yeah,
there's a lab. Yeah, which she is supposed to get something from that lab and then destroy the lab.
Yeah.
So yeah, we see that mission, but I mean, I think the big setup of that is the fact that she's not happy. I mean, she's very much in a depressive mood, you could say, which is one of the big things about the movie. I think is this a movie about about depression.
Depression, mental health.
I mean, mental health.
Yep,
I mean, so they sneak it in there very well, but yeah, the setup, with the trailers the way they were, I could say that this first part of the movie, for the most part, I kind of guessed correctly, where it did feel like all these heroes, they're not heroes, these anti-heroes are just being set up to die by, of course, the Contessa, let's just call her the Contessa. Is that?
Yeah, okay.
Contessa de, what's her full name? I can't even pronounce it. So I'm just going to say the Contessa, or I'm going to say Seinfeld, or I'm going to say Veep, or any number of things to refer to Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who has another hard name. So, anyway, the Contessa are leading these anti-heroes into a trap. So because she's trying to become the head of the CIA. And of course, she's getting grilled by the Senate committee of people who say you've done a lot of bad things, and we're going to find those bad things. And she wants to erase those bad things so that she can get confirmed. So yeah, that's how our movie starts. And I don't know who's your favorite, I think, character in the movie.
Well, at first, and when the movie started and we got introduced to Taskmaster, I was like, oh, she's so cool, and then she didn't last long.
First spoiler, I am on note that Taskmaster is one of my favorite Marvel villains. I love the look. I love it's the superpower. Besides your invisibility and the big ones, you're flying, your invulnerability, the superpower I want is to be able to watch someone do something and then do it. Like whether it's fighting, hitting a baseball, throwing a pass, the idea of like watching something and being able to mimic it. And so Taskmaster is just, the costume's so cool. It's goofy as heck. But, having the shield and the bow and the sword of all these different heroes and being able to use it as well as they do. And then I was so pumped when it was going to be introduced in Black Widow, right?
Right.
And then I was so disappointed by what that character was. I was like, this, they may have the powers of Taskmaster, but the look is horrible. It looked like a reject off of the G.I. Joe movie. It's just like a black latex jumpsuit. There wasn't any of the flair. I mean, the character has flair, right? And I get it. It probably looks stupid on the movie screen. But come on,
right.
I mean, it's not as dumb as any other costume.
True,
Let's just,
right.
go for it. But anyway, so I wasn't happy with the Black Widow. So the fact that supposedly Taskmaster going to be in this one, I'm like, okay, they can redeem Taskmaster, right?
Yeah.
And for maybe 3 minutes, they kind of do a little bit. I mean, the costume looks a little bit more. It's still movie-fied, but she's got all the accoutrement actually on her, and it wasn't that weird. It was like coming out of her gauntlet in the Black Widow movie or something, but now she actually has it, or I don't know. The fight scene looked better, the character looked better, and then bam, dead.
I know,
and I thought it was a gag. I thought she was like undead now, and she was just gonna wake up, right? So I was surprised that.
Yeah, because Taskmaster could have added so much more to this team.
Yeah, a team that all they do is punch and kick as they lampshade.
Right.
Yeah. So what was your after Taskmaster? What was your favorite character?
Honestly, probably Ghost. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think Ghost, and then right under that, I actually really did like John Walker in this.
Okay.
Yeah, I really did.
Okay.
I feel like in the past he's kind of like rubbed me wrong a little bit, but then
I think he's supposed to, right?
Yeah.
So his first appearance was supposed to rub you the long way, but all these characters get a little bit of depth to them. I thought Ghost was pretty cool, but I thought the most underutilized in the movie.
Yeah,
she doesn't even. I don't even know if she got a backstory.
I don't think
at least the other one's got some sort of weird flashbacky thing happen, but I don't think she got anything.
Yeah, because
so she's still kind of a ghost.
Yeah,
so.
right.
But yeah, very cool. Cool power, cool everything. I love Yelena.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
there's something about the way she's a really good character because she could be just another Black Widow because she is, right? But her take on the character and the way she does things is different from the way the other Black Widow was. And so they're clearly two separate characters. And I thought she was good. And then right below that, Red Guardian. I just love everything he does.
Yeah.
I mean, he's supposed to be over the top. He
Right.
is over the top. He's having a good time. And so, yeah, but I can't say that I didn't not like any of them.
Right. No.
So
same here.
Yeah. What about Bucky? I thought he was going to be in this more. He really isn't.
Yeah,
he's not in it as much as you think. So, because obviously the trailers kind of give away. Because this is not. The other thing is, it's not as action heavy as I thought it was going to be.
Right.
Like there is action, but there really isn't.
Yeah, because you get a little bit at the beginning.
Yeah, you get a bunch of little separate fight scenes at the beginning, and the tussle and throwdown with soldiers, and then they fight each other, which is kind of fun. But then, at the end of the movie, right, it goes a totally different direction.
Right. Yeah.
So we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, so there's not a lot of action. So to most of the trailer marketing is the scene on the road where Bucky shows up, which is like literally halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he has a cameo, but he's a not a senator, a representative. Yeah. He's a representative. So, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. But I mean, I love Bucky. Any minute I can get with him. So we've got all the characters, and they get together, and they finally figure out that it's the Contessa wants to get rid of them because she's trying to destroy all this info. Yeah. And then they meet Bob.
Mm-hmm. Good old Bob.
Who I thought was great.
I think he did fantastic.
I thought it was great. Now, again, spoilers, don't, if you're watching this, but I mean, obviously I know, you haven't read The Sentry is what you told me. So, right. So did you know anything about the character at all?
Mm-mm.
So did you know Bob was the Sentry, or did you not know who Bob was?
Yeah, I didn't know who Bob was. Yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. Okay. So you had no clue.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, that's interesting.
My surprise was.
Okay. All right. That's interesting. Yeah. All right. So, do you remember? I think they go back to it, but do you remember when Yelena was in the original lab at the beginning of the movie?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
The room she was trying to get into. Mm-hmm. Do you remember there was shadows on the wall that looked pretty weird? Okay. Did that
okay, yeah.
So so he was in that room. that's where they tested him. That's why the one scientist was going all crazy. Like, you don't want to go in that room. This was a total failure. Well, it was a success, but obviously it went super bad. So that's where they gave him the drug, and he voided out. And he killed some people. So that's why that doctor that ends up killing himself freaked out. He's all freaked out and stuff. So I thought that was a good little tease that you wouldn't notice because it flashes back around to it. And then you see it definitely. But if you were paying attention, you kind of noticed that it's like some weird splotches on the wall there that don't make any sense. So I thought that was good from the movie to kind of give you that little clue about what was going on, So
because that was the same like drug that they tried to give him when he was actually
right. That was the drug So it comes out that it's basically a drug trial trying to create It's it's a version of the superhuman serum that John Walker has and stuff, but it's something new because she's doing it herself through her corporation. In secret to try to control it as a product. And so he's one of the few that survived, but obviously had really bad side effects. So they were able to put him in that cryogenic case that was going to get incinerized, right? And so they were going to, but then, it opens up and then he comes out and then they rescue him. And that's what freaks her out because she knows that this guy, he shouldn't be alive. So okay, so you didn't know Bob. That's interesting. All right. So then what did you think once it gets to the point where he actually like steps in front of the bullets? So after they fight, so he stays, and then he flies up, and then so then what did
I think my jaw kind of hit the floor.
Because
this whole time, like Bob is just kind of like this, like I mean, you wouldn't think that that's who he is.
Right. Yeah. So just this dude, and then all of a sudden he does all that. Okay. All right. That's interesting. See, it's cool to see it from a different perspective because obviously I know exactly what's going on at this point. I know that Bob is the Sentry because the whole conceit is he's mentally unbalanced.
Right.
And in the comics, it's not a drug. I don't believe. I forget how. You bought the original Sentry, so you'll know once you read it. I don't remember how he got his powers. Sentry for me, I don't like him in the comics.
Okay,
I'm not a fan of the character.
Basically, because overpowered, essentially.
Well, overpowered in a way that at the time he was coming out, he was meant to be this kind of Superman, stand-in. Like, it's basically what if the Marvel Universe had a Superman, right?
Okay, yeah.
And so one of the big things about it was the fact that he was in the Marvel Universe in the early days, but whatever happened, I think it was Mr. Fantastic was the one that was able to stop it, but then somehow they erased his existence from memory. So no one remembered that he was a part of the Marvel Universe back in the day.
Really?
Because it went so bad. Right. But he had a mental break, I think. And I don't know if it was caused by anything. I think he just had a mental break. And that's why he has the dual thing. The Sentry is one, so he is Bob, but then he can become the Sentry, and then he'll be just like a Superman type.
Yeah.
But then he also can become the Void. And the thing about it is they set him up where in the comics, the more the Sentry uses his powers, the more the Void gets to coming out. So there's like a point of no return. So the Sentry's kind of, he's super powered, but he can't use it all because the more he uses, the more chance he turns into the Void. So it's always a game, right? Yeah. And I don't know. I never quite liked the character because, again, like I told you, anytime there was a big fight or an event that could be easily solved by having a Superman around, he would get taken off the Void because he would say, oh, I can't do this because I'm going to become the Void, or I'm going to have a mental breakdown because I'm afraid of becoming the Void, or he'd just become the Void. It was just like, and so he was never really the Sentry that often. I don't know. I never clicked with the character. So,
and the character's not really that old though, is he? Like, as
no, it was one of those. It's one of those it's a classic retcon.
Yeah, okay.
It's like we're doing this in the 2000s because I think the original Sentry came out in like 2000, 2001.
That's what.
But we're gonna say that this character actually existed back in the
Yeah.
1960s when the FF and stuff were all new. Yeah, so you'll read that in the book. All right, so then the team gets together. Bucky gets them together, and the movie moves along at a fast clip. I was never bored. It kept on going. There wasn't a lot of downtime, but the cool thing was we got a lot of, especially Yelena's trauma.
Yeah.
You know,
especially when she meets back up with the Red Guardian.
Yes. Yeah. So, I thought that was really, really good. I just watching her kind of, she wants to have a family and stuff like that, and just watching her go through the stuff that, man, those Red Room things.
Yeah.
I mean, the more you learn about it, the more you're wondering how Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow came out of that and is actually semi okay,
right?
Because
in this character, like Yelena, like we saw obviously like the Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff, like we saw her have like her vulnerable side, like, or show her vulnerable side like quite often. So, but with what we know of Yelena, like in the movies, especially, like you're thinking that like, oh, there's no way that we'd ever get something like that from her. But then in this movie, that's definitely not the case.
Right.
So, which is actually really nice because like you were talking about like the, I don't know if you'd call the Sentry and the Void a dual identity, I guess, kind of.
Again, it's in the movie, how do they go between the? I guess it happens accidentally.
Yeah,
I think it's
think
more
so.
it's more of an accidental thing. Where in the comics, there's a definite use your powers, become the Void kind of thing going back and forth. But yeah, I don't know how they. I'm not sure. How does it trigger? Does it trigger after she does the kill switch on him, and then it triggers it? Or
so, yeah.
Okay.
Because he's as a Sentry, he fights the team and everything, and then they're gone, and then I think right after that is kind of, she tries, or she is successful,
right?
And then I think like shortly after that is when we see him become the Void. We don't really see.
Yeah. So it must be something to do with the kill switch. Maybe made his mind break or something. So I mean, it's psychological.
And I think Thunderbolts does a better job, other than any other Marvel movie, I think, that really like portrays like what it's like for like people like with with mental health, with things along that line. I think it
well, especially these type of people who do things that are kind of like sketchy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they are kind of killers, for the most part, or
and the fact that they all of them, none of them have superpowers. I mean, the most they have is the super soldier serum,
right?
But like and all of them are still going up against the Sentry, and then but I thought it was really interesting when the Void took over, and he goes like this, and the people disappear, but when the darkness just comes, and it doesn't matter if you're in a building, it doesn't matter if you're hiding behind something, it's getting you. Yeah. Like, I thought that was really, really neat.
Yeah, no, a really good effect. Again, this movie takes a turn, like, right after they decide that they're going to kind of, like, Bucky brings them together kind of, like, halfway through the movie, and they go to face the Contessa, basically, and then she basically rolls out the Sentry in the official costume, which looks good.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah. And then they've already lampshaded a couple of times. What are we gonna do? We're just a bunch of people that punch and kick.
Right.
Like we really don't have any superpowers, and they get their asses beat.
For sure.
I mean, I mean, he could have killed them all if he wanted to, but he just kind of plays around with them, throws them around the room and stuff. And
and I think it was interesting where, the Sentry was like, talking to Valentina. She's like, you're basically like the Avengers all wrapped up into one. But then he's basically saying, or she's saying like he's a god. But I think what she's getting at is more of like, actually God, because, he's like, I'm there's a god on the Avengers, but he's like basically saying I'm better than him, I'm stronger than him, and stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty interesting to bring that aspect into it. I think that just kind of escalated things as far as showing you how powerful this entry is.
Yeah, and so then you get to the third act. Pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Again, this movie is 2 hours, but it didn't seem like that.
No, not at all.
It went pretty fast.
Yeah.
But you get to the third act and you're like, okay, there's going to be some sort of big fight. You don't know how it's going to go, but he's going to throw things at them and they're going to, but no, it just ends up being like we step into the mindscape kind of thing. And then we tussle with our demons, I guess. And are able to kind of bring him out of being the void. And yeah, it was good. It was different. Like you're not expecting it necessarily, and the stuff they did, the way they did the different mindscape was cool, and the different transitions.
Yes, I love those. Yeah,
and like you said with John Walker, I mean, I knew when he said he had a family early on in the movie. I'm like, yeah, no, you're like. Yeah, so, but you see that the fact that he's not a very good, whatever, he's not a very good husband.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
no, for sure
he's not a very good husband, and so they left him, and that was, wasn't a shocker, but it was still sad. It was still sad, because I don't think he necessarily wanted to, but he has his own depression he's dealing with and stuff. So,
and I'm glad it was Yelena that kind of got a hold of Bob to be like, hey, you're literally the only one that can stop this,
right?
Because I mean, obviously, Yelena's the one that's really dealing with the depression and the mental health like throughout this whole thing. It's obvious of that, but so I think that was even more powerful when she was the one that was able to talk to him like, hey. We can't stop this.
And then that helped her.
Yeah, so, exactly.
Yeah, and that helped her. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and then they're able to bring him back down, I guess. And so I don't really know what happens to the character going forward. I guess we're not really told.
Not really.
Yeah. So we'll see what they do. But then of course you have the stinger at the end, which again, I was able to avoid spoilers for it, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I didn't go on social media and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, so they're crowned the new Avengers.
They got tricked into a press conference.
Yeah, basically tricked into being crowned the new Avengers, which is weird. I thought they were going to be like the Dark Avengers, but the new Avengers, and then of course we have the sting at the end, where they're obviously been doing it for a while because they have costumes and stuff like that, and you find out that the Avengers that Captain America is bringing back is suing for the name or something, because now there's going to be two competing. So we'll see if that, if the two teams have to battle it out or something like that. But that's kind of funny because that's how it was in the comics. There was an Avengers title and a new Avengers title. So I don't know. What did you think about them being like a super team, I guess?
I mean, I think it's going to make for an interesting future.
Yeah.
To be honest. I mean, because like we said, like none of them have any sort of superpowers. I mean, there's a new, There's a new Avengers comic coming out soon, right?
Yes.
But that one has like Hulk and
it was solicited as a Thunderbolts comic, but then they changed it to it's actually a new Avengers comic. Yeah.
So it's like if they had, the Hulk on their team and stuff like that, things could have went differently. But like but also the fact that Valentina was in the old Avengers Tower.
Yes.
I thought that was interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. When I first saw that I was like, huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. Yeah, so she owns it now, I guess. The government owns it. I'm not sure if it's her or the government that owns it. So we'll see what happens there. And then, of course, the very final stinger is the bridge to, we'll see what happens. But
there was two post-credit scenes.
Right.
Yeah. One was...
Well, the one was just the goofy one.
Yeah,
The goofy one with the Wheaties box.
Yeah.
The payoff of that joke. So that was funny. And you can tell... But you could tell they filmed that later as they filmed both later because David Harbour has obviously shaved because he's probably doing Stranger Things season like
Yep.
5 or whatever. So he probably got
Yeah.
called back. He's like, I'm not growing a beard
Yeah.
and stuff like that for this. So they gave him like the shaved look and stuff. So that was kind of funny. But then yes, at the end of the new Avengers one, we see the FF rocket.
Yeah,
So,
which is really cool.
And that was cool. So
yeah. I really hope they. I mean, this is off topic from this movie, but I really hope that with Galactus, I hope they, don't do him dirty. I hope they actually, bring out the character and not just kind of like how some villains that they've used in the past were just like, oh, that's so cool. Like, we're going to get this character. And they're like, oh, that wasn't really much.
We'll see. I mean, at least he's not a Cloud.
Yes.
So
true.
That's all we've got to go on so far.
Up.
But yeah. All right. So again, it doesn't seem like it's just it's just a solidly written movie, I think, and it does some different stuff that you don't see from most of the superhero fare, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. It tells the story in a pretty succinct fashion, and I thought Bob, the guy that played Bob, did a really good job.
Yeah.
So
I think if I had like one line to tell someone to watch this, I think what I would say is it explores trauma, identity, and the complexities of heroism in a post-Avengers world. So I feel like that's kind of like the line that I would give somebody who like...
Good tagline.
Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah.
All right.
So overall...
Okay, well, really hopefully if you've seen it, then you enjoyed our little talk about it. If you haven't seen it, you probably shouldn't be watching this. But yeah, we'll see. We're excited about Fantastic Four, so cannot wait to talk about that. So, all right. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.